Happy Friday. This is Coach MJ, the coaching connoisseur. Hope you've had a fabulous week. I know that I have. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that is probably of interest to a lot of you, which is part of the reason why I decided to pivot into this space in my business, because I keep getting questions about this very thing. And that topic is, how am I able to travel so much and do the things that I do and still support myself? So mostly, I travel usually every month. I am out of town somewhere, and that's because travel is one of my hobbies. But I also operate my business, and so when people are seeing me posting pictures from right now all around the country, because I'm not traveling internationally yet, they're like, why are you always gone somewhere? And they're just trying to figure out what it is that I do where I'm able to be gone so much of the time. And it's not that I'm gone a lot. I might be gone several days to a week out of the month, just because I love being here at home, here in my wealth boutique. But I travel a lot. And I know for a lot of people, specifically Black women, because that's who I work with primarily, we always want to travel. I talked to one woman today. She said, I don't know what my gifts are, but I want to travel a lot. I want to be able to travel whenever I want to. Coach MJ, can you help me? And of course, I can help her. But I thought I would come on here today and just tell you what some of those building blocks are that you need in order to be able to travel every month without using your PTO. PTO stands for paid time off. And that's what most employers refer to, the 1, 2, maybe 3. If you've been there a long time, you might get 4 weeks off of paid vacation, which means you can be gone, not be affected by your absence and not working. And so people want to know, how can I travel and do all the things without using PTO? And here's the other part about traveling a lot. It costs money, right? You can, maybe take a weekend trip for a couple $100 every once in a while. But for those who are like me, who like to really travel in style and do all the things you want to be able to do, stay where you want to stay, travel the way you want to travel, you know that those trips can get to be very expensive, into the thousands of dollars. And you should be able to do those things. It should not just be a once in a lifetime trip or even a once a year trip. If you have the travel bug like me, you want to be able to go as often as you want to. And so we're going to talk today about this fun topic, how I and others are able to create a lifestyle of freedom and not have your lifestyle back at home suffer. Or your wallet to suffer. Because that's really what travel is about, right? It's not just about being away from home. It's also about, when you come home, being able to live the life that you want to live. It's also about being able to give at the level that you want to give at. It's about being able to take care of maybe setting up college funds for your children, if that's something you want to do, or take care of your aging parents. I know I'm a part of the generation, and you want to be able to take care of your parents and give them the care that you want. Maybe that's where you are. And so being free is about more than just travel, but that's usually what people talk about when they talk about having total freedom, because it means that you are in charge. And now I'm looking for my notes because they have disappeared on me, and they are on one of these screens and I can't find it. But anyway, I'm just going to wing it and go off the top of my head because I know I wrote them down somewhere. The first thing that you have to be, if you want to be able to travel every month without using your PTO, and of course, just a caveat, of course, we're talking about entrepreneurship, right? Nobody who has a job is able to be gone all the time or gone as often as you want to, because you have to be there. Again, if you only have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 weeks out of the year that you can be off without pay, and then also it's not even just about the pay. Your employer doesn't want you to be gone a total of 2, 3, 4 months out of the year. So we're talking about entrepreneurship, right? So let's level set on that, working for yourself. But you have to be very self-reliant when you are traveling every month without using your PTO. As we go down the list, we're going to see that everything that you're doing are things that you have to be able to create or sustain on your own. You can't depend on somebody else, or only be able to do something if somebody else tells you what to do. Somebody else is leading the way. You have to be very self-reliant and also self-confident to be able to move in that space. When you are, of course, creating the work, because as an entrepreneur, nobody tells you what to do. You have to be able to create the work with someone else, the guidance, the quite frankly, somebody telling you what to do all the time. You're not really going to be able to be in a space where you can be gone all the time and travel without somebody telling you what to do and being able to say, okay, you need to come here at this time. You need to come back at this time. This is where you need to go. People who you see, maybe you see YouTube videos or you see people in your news feed talking about total freedom. That total freedom comes at a cost, and that cost is that you have to be very confident in your abilities, and you really can't care what other people think. All of that comes under the heading of self-reliance, confidence and capability, and the willingness to do for yourself. And a lot of times people think, oh yeah, I'm independent, I'm an independent woman. But then you talk to them and you get a little bit beneath the surface and you realize this person is actually quite dependent on the government. And I don't mean like welfare, but I just mean depending on the government to create the boundaries for their success, or they're moving forward, or dependent on their family and what they think about them to give the okay, that it's okay to move about the way you want to. Complete freedom means that you have to be completely free up here. That's part of self-reliance, is that you can't worry about what other people think. And you might think that you don't care, but a lot of times all it takes is one comment, some little sad comment from one of your relatives or somebody on social media, one of your friends, to say, you don't need to be doing that. You can't afford that. I had somebody close to me tell me I can't afford, it was so funny. I can't afford to be doing what I'm doing. I can't afford to have a team. I can't afford this or that. And I'm thinking, oh, but I can. I'm doing it. You can't tell me, and you don't have what I want. So how can you tell me what it's going to take to get what I want, right? So anyway, that all falls under self-reliance. And that's really the most important thing. You have to be a self-starter. You have to be a self-thinker. If the first thing you think to do when you want to do something outside the box, like travel a lot, is ask other people what they think about it, you don't have the level of self-reliance that you need. And you need to start practicing just making moves, right? Making moves, not telling people what you're going to do. If they can't help you get there, they don't need to be in there. All of that falls under self. Okay, I was not able to find my notes, so I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to go off the top of my head. The next thing that you need is a skill set that you can sell. Now, if you work for somebody, which most of you do, probably all of you have a job at least, or maybe you already are self-employed, you have a skill set that you can sell to at least an employer, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have a job. What I'm specifically talking about is a skill set that you can sell out in the marketplace, again, on your own, under your own, again, self-reliance and under your own effort. Selling your skill set. And I usually like it to be a service. That's why I'm a coach. I sell my knowledge. I sell my expertise, and I can sell that over and over and over again. A product it's not a bad thing to have a product, but you tend to be more location dependent sometimes. A product is a thing, and so it requires usually some physicality unless you're selling somebody else's product. But even that, I don't like how dependent that makes you on somebody else. So I'm partial to a service, which is why I help Black women to leave the jobs that don't deserve them, and create a lucrative coaching business, because coaching is a service. Intellectual property, you're selling systems, you're selling ways of doing things, you're selling your knowledge and your guidance, right? So that's what I'm partial to. But I would say you need to have a skill set that you can sell while you are out here traveling. And that's kind of leads into the next thing. In addition to having a skill set that you can sell, and it has to be something that people want, right? So it has to be something that your customers are going to want, that a lot of customers are going to want. You also have to, and I made up this word today. I'm so proud of myself. I called it setting fluid or site fluid, SITE fluid, which means you don't have to have a certain location. You are not tethered to a office. You are not tethered to even being in a building. I literally can be on a beach. And as long as I have internet access on my phone or able to tap into that on my laptop, I can run my business from anywhere in the world. I have been outside, I've been in my car, and I've been working with my clients. I've been in Airbnbs, I've been in airports, and I'm running my business. So my business is site fluid, which means I can be anywhere. You have to have a skill set that you can set up as a product. So you're going to productize your skill set, and it needs to be something that you can sell from anywhere in the world because you are site fluid, right? That's what makes me able to travel so much, is because I don't have to be here in my wealth boutique to do it. I like being in here because it's so comfy and cozy, and I'm inspired, and there's all that kinds of things on the wall that you guys can't see that keep me pumped up and fired up, and I'm very comfortable in here, and this yellow color makes me happy. But I can also be in a hotel, I can be on a train, on a bus, I can be anywhere as long as I can type or, hunt and peck on my phone, as long as I can talk, as long as I can broadcast anywhere with internet. I can run my business because it is setting fluid or site fluid. And that's what you need, a skill set that you can sell to the marketplace in a site or setting fluid capacity. The next thing that you need so that you can travel every month is that you need to, I told you I lost my notes. You need to have a scalable income. So what does that mean? So you don't want to have a situation where you are dependent on your fixed income that you have right now to travel, because you only have a limited amount of money that you can, squeeze out and save up to make those annual or twice annual vacations. What do I mean by scalable? A scalable income is one that's not guaranteed, because again, you can't guarantee what's going to happen today or put your best effort towards it. But at the same time, even though your earnings are not guaranteed, they are unlimited. The earning potential is unlimited. You don't want to be dependent on a paycheck. Now, I know there's a lot of people. I'm in a lot of, specifically in some RV and camper groups, right? Communities where those people that travel a lot, they live in their RVs, they live in their camper vans. They are often working during the day when they're not doing their travel vlogs and showing you the fun that they're having. They're working jobs. And some of them are working, some of them are in entrepreneurs. I'm talking specifically about the people that work a job where maybe they have set hours, maybe they don't, but they report to an employer. And so that employer decides for those that are on the road while they're working for somebody, they decide how much they're able to make. And while they are able to have a lifestyle of freedom, living in their RV and things of that nature, there's only so much they can do. There's only so far they can go. And true, their lives are very inexpensive to operate because, RVs or a camper van is not expensive. You need gasoline and a few other things and you're off to the races. But if they ever wanted to, let's say, take a 2-month trip overseas and it costs 10 grand and that's not in their budget, they're still dependent on employer and time it takes to save up to take that extra trip, right? So even that to me is limited, even though they have some of the freedom that I enjoy as well. And so you need a scalable income where the more effort you put in, the more income you can create. And I'm not talking about hours, because we don't talk about exchanging hours for dollars in the space that I live in. I'm talking specifically about effort, which could just mean that you spend more time thinking up ideas that can help your money, that can help you leverage what you're already doing and reaching more people in less time and with less output. You get more input with less output and those types of things. That's what I mean by scalable. But again, as COVID has shown us, as changes to Facebook's ad platform, for example, have shown us, nothing's guaranteed. Things are always changing, and you need to be able to be flexible with those changes. And so when your income is scalable, that just means there's no limit to it. And you can put out less and less effort, but get more and more income and input from the marketplace, usually in the form of customers and, of course, income that comes as revenue from your customers. You have to have a scalable business model as well, something that can get bigger and bigger as your effort gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So your model has to you have to have a model that is scalable so that it can give you a scalable income, if that makes sense. You don't want something where you're able to travel, but you're still dependent on somebody else to determine how much money you can make, because to me, that's not total freedom. You need to determine that there's no cap on your income. Notice how I said that. I didn't say you need to determine the cap on your income. No, because why would you give yourself a cap? You need to decide. And when you make that decision, the possibilities are endless, but you need to decide that your income is going to be and is unlimited and does not have a cap on it. And then you're going to go about creating the situations and finding those opportunities that create that for you, right? It starts with a decision. I say that a lot. It starts with a decision. And sometimes in the entrepreneurial space, or not people who are currently successful entrepreneurs, but people who are wanting to get in, jump into the water, they want to dip their toes in and see if I can make it work, or see if I can get all the answers ironed out, all the money and all the other things first, and then I'll jump out there. But that's not what entrepreneurship is about. You have to do a free fall and leap out there with your ideas, with the confidence and the self-reliance to know. So we're going back to that first one. The self-reliance is super important, but you want to have a scalable business model and you want to have scalable income, and you can travel whenever you want to. And this last one is schedule flexibility, which all of this ties together. This is not a step-by-step checklist. This is really all things you have to have at the same time, right? So in addition to having the scalable income that comes from working for yourself, you're going to have that schedule flexibility, right? And that's a given. PTO, when you work for somebody else, you got to ask off, you got to get their approval, what dates you're going to be off and when you're going to come back and how long you can be gone and all of that. And again, they determine, when it's a PTO situation you're dealing with, they determine how much of that time I'm wondering how I survived so long with only being able to be gone like 3 weeks. Like, what am I going to do in 3 weeks? I'm gone 3 weeks out of a quarter at least. And that's really because COVID has limited some of the movements, right? But if COVID disappeared today and all the restrictions, I'd be overseas looking for a hotspot, looking for a Wi-Fi, right? Because I'm not tethered to this space and my schedule is unlimited. I like being at home as well. And so that's why the super long trips, those things, because I like being at home. So 2-3 weeks is probably going to be my limit, but it's because I like being at home, not because I have to be here and not because I can't afford to not be here, because I can work from anywhere. I'm site fluid. I can work, I can work as long as I want or as little as I want and still get the same outcomes. And I have the schedule flexibility and the scalable income and scalable business model to do that. But the most important one is the self-reliance. And again, you have to have a skill set that you can sell to the marketplace as well. The self-reliance is huge. I never, ever question, and you shouldn't question whether I can do a thing. I say, I'm going to do it. I make a decision, and then the way opens up. The way will never open up until you make a decision, until you say, this is what I want. This is the life I want to live. I want to be traveling every month. I want to be going here and there. If I want to take 2 trips in a month, which I have done that, I think it was last October, I spent some time in Florida, and then I doubled back and went. I don't even remember where I went. I'd have to go back and look at my travel journal. But you can move as often as you want to. Move freely in the world. The only thing that's stopping you is that somebody else controls your time and controls your money And that person is the person or people that you are helping to free up their time and their schedule because you're doing the work they don't want to do. And they're only giving you a little bit of the massive amount of money they're making. And that person is your employer. So once you get free of your employer by monetizing your skill set, right? You can also be free. The biggest hurdle that's stopping you from traveling every month is that you have a job or you have a business that you are running like a job. That's the rest of the story. Because there are people who call themselves entrepreneurs, but they're really solopreneurs, which means they don't have a team. They're doing everything themselves, and the business is burying them alive with 16-hour days. I've never worked 16 hours in a day. Not even when I had a job did I do that. I definitely don't do that as a business owner. Why would I do that? Why would I work 16 hours a day? Now, sometimes I may work some long hours, not that long, but I'll work a little bit of long hours just because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. But as soon as I'm done, I'm done. Why would you get a business and then make your lifestyle even worse than it was when you work for somebody else? I've never understood that. But there are certain types of businesses where people are basically just working a job that they own, or in other words, a job that owns them. So many people are doing that under the guise of entrepreneurship. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be like that. Even if you have a business like that right now, where you're working more hours than you worked when you worked your job, I guarantee that with the right expert input, you can figure out how to monetize those very skill sets in a scalable model that will create scalable income, completely free up your time, so that you can also travel the world every month, every week if you want to. Heck, you can put all your stuff in storage and always be gone, like the people in the camper vans or these digital nomads. But some of those digital nomads, when I look at what they really do, they have freedom of location, but they don't have freedom of income because they're still asking somebody else how much money they can make. And that might be okay for them. That's just not what's okay for me. And that's what we're talking about here is freedom of time and income. Because I want to be able to go anywhere. If I want to go to Dubai, that's an $8,000, $10,000 trip if you do it right. Let's go. Put our mask on and fly 24 hours and get over there and do that thing. And it can't be that it takes you a year or two to save up $8,000 for this trip of a lifetime. I don't want you to have trips of a lifetime. I want you to have a lifetime of trips. No trips of a lifetime of trips. And if that's what you want to have a lifetime of trips. You don't want to have to ask your manager anymore whether you can be off and all that kind of stuff. You want to be able to go when you want to go. And I only say when your schedule allows you, except for your personal things that might be in your schedule, but it's not your work schedule calling the cards. If you want to be able to just, when you hear about a trip, you just reserve your room, you reserve your flight, and you're not worried about, do I have it? How long is it going to take me to save up the money? But you can just step out there and do it. If that's the life you want to live, guess what? You can live that. And I can show you exactly how. I'm going to invite you right now to join the Build Wealth While You Travel Challenge. It's coming up. You need to get in on it, sis. It's 4 days of mind-blowing information where you're going to be like, why have I been sitting on this all these years? You have a gold mine. I don't even know you, and I know you have a gold mine right there at your disposal. You do. Because everybody does. Everybody's an expert. And you can be monetizing your expertise right now and creating the freedom we've been talking about. Get on over there. Get your VIP ticket to the challenge. BuildWealthWhileYouTravel.com. Remember, entrepreneurs invest in themselves. No more depending on your employer to buy the pencils. It's time for you to start buying the pencils, figuratively and literally. Go ahead, get your VIP ticket for 4 days, not 4 full days. It'll be partial workshop days, but you're going to learn everything you need to know step by step to get in on this lifestyle. So you can travel as much as you want to, but not worry about the money, not worry about I got to go back because I got to get back to work. If you want to go back, it needs to be because you're homesick, not because you ran out of money or the boss is waiting for you. No, ma'am. It can only be because you're homesick. Build wealth while you travel. What are we talking about? We're talking about, again, remember that scalable income I talked about? You're not just going to make a few $1,000s a month and barely scraping by. No, ma'am. It's a 5-figure month. Then it's a 6-figure month. Then it can be a 7-figure month. The income potential is unlimited because you can find your audience. And we're going to show you how. You can find your or create your perfect offer to give to that audience. You can find your audience out here in the world and have them beating down your virtual doors to work with you. And then you're going to know exactly how to show them how to solve the problem that you are uniquely designed to help them solve. And they're going to pay you good money for that. When you're out here solving real problems, you get to make real money. Think about a doctor, a lawyer. Think about, there's people out here making good problems. They're just entertaining people. Imagine if you could solve a real world pain point, a struggle that some group of people out here has. Well, you can, but you got to learn how. You got to set it up the right way. And that's what we're going to be doing in the Build Wealth While You Travel Challenge. It's coming up soon. Go to buildwealthwhileyoutravel.com right now. Get your VIP ticket and let's get started. It's not enough to say, I want to travel. It's not enough to say, oh, I don't know. I don't know how I can do it. I'm telling you, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. But you got to be serious about it and make a decision that you're tired of living life the way you're living it right now and you want more. No more taking the trip of a lifetime. Instead, take a lifetime of trips with me and other people who have their total freedom. So get on over there to buildwealthwhileyoutravel.com and get your VIP ticket. I am looking forward to meeting you because people like you who want to be free like me, I love people like that because you're not limited in your thinking and you're a joy to be around. So get your ticket and we will meet soon on the other side of you stepping out of your comfort zone. Hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend. I'll be back right here next week, but don't wait till then. Get your ticket now. There's not enough space for a ton of people, keeping my group small so you can get the individual attention that you deserve. Build wealth while you travel.com. Have a talk to you soon. Bye-bye.